KSBY News starts right now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for the news at 6. I'm Karina Corral.
And I'm Dan Shadwell. Good evening to you. Well, the rain has already started falling around the Central Coast and a flood watch is in effect for some spots. And we have live team coverage for you tonight on the Storm Watch. KSBY reporters Alexa Bertola will join us with flood concerns. Megan Abundis is live at the Sherpa Fire burn area where an evacuation warning is in place. And Fabiola Ramirez will update us on road concerns.
First, though, Chief Meteorologist Dave Hovde is tracking the rain for you. So, Dave, how much rain are we expecting?
It's a wide range, Karina. Some folks are going to wonder where this storm is, and others are going to be adding this up in inches. This is live 101 camera through San Luis Obispo. We've been watching the pace of the traffic here slowing down right now, and at times it's just a string of lights. Let's take a look at the other thing that's lighting up, and that's a Doppler radar here. The green indicates lighter rainfall rates, the yellows, oranges, and reds, the heavier rainfall rates. So just looking at the system, it's just on the doorstep here. Most of the low pressure is actually off the coast. It's very warm, unstable, tropical air that's moving into the area. We can start to see the building, though, of the cloud deck moving past 20,000 feet to nearly 30,000 feet. That tells you a little bit about the lift in the atmosphere. And that's why we're including the possibility of thunderstorms in the forecast as well. This is a look at volumetric radar across Santa Maria. It's not nearly as robust, but there is some activity beginning to push through the Central Coast. I just drew this box here around the Paso Robles, Cambria to San Luis area. The average rainfall rate is only 0.05 of an inch per hour, but at times some of these pockets here have produced rain rates up to 1/4 to 1/2 inch an hour, but it doesn't rain a whole hour at that rate. And we're just getting going here. This is the storm's southwest flow, the track of the low across the area. Really interesting to note, it's pulling up some subtropical moisture from the leftovers of Hurricane Seymour down to the south. In terms of the modeling, the heaviest rain will fall after sunset tonight. So you're looking at 12:40 in the morning, Friday morning, and a bulk of the system still off the coast. So it's midnight to 4 a.m. here, moves across the area. Still some showers through Friday morning, but I do think we're going to wrap this thing up as we start getting into Friday afternoon, some scattered showers into Saturday, possible. But I really think the system is going to be an overnight into tomorrow thing, another possibility of rain on Sunday. The modeling is all over the place. At times, it's put this bullseye on San Luis Obispo to an inch and a half. The agreement has been on the north coast, but it really does fall off across Santa Barbara County. This is another model that's just more generally robust about the system. Still a fall off point in Santa Barbara County where some folks might see less than a 1/2 inch of rain. But on the high side, you have to include 2 and 2.5 inches in the coastal hills up near Cambria. We'll talk much more about this in weather coming up. For continuing coverage, Karina, I'm going to toss it back to you.
All right, Dave, thank you. Well, if you are worried about flooding, there are sandbagging areas on the Central Coast. Paso Robles and Santa Maria are providing sand. However, you must bring your own bags, and you can pick up bags at hardware stores. Santa Barbara County will have sand and bags available beginning Tuesday. For a detailed list of sandbag locations, visit our website, ksby.com.
Well, as we mentioned, the flood watch includes the Chimney Fire burn area, and the biggest concern tonight that debris may flow into Lake Nacimiento, degrading the water quality there. KSBY News reporter Alexa Bertola joins us live in San Luis Obispo, where that rain has been picking up. Alexa?
That's right, Dan. Tonight, mudslides are a huge concern, and officials say approximately 25% of the Nacimiento watershed burned, which could affect water quality in the days to come.
Nearly 2 months after the Chimney Fire charred 46,000 acres, the wet weather is a big concern, especially for the Nacimiento Water Company. It provides water to 650 homes in the Oak Shores community.
We're worried about the rain, of course, coming down, washing things into the lake.
Debris is expected to make its way into the reservoir. It's just a matter of how much.
We'll see probably not too much if it's a slow rain and it's got time to settle in. And, you know, we may not see the effects of it so bad, but a hard gully washer will definitely cause way more problems.
These problems include sediment in the reservoir and dirty water. This will require a lot of treatment by the company.
The worst fear we have is what comes across the lake from the burnt houses.
Down the road, the Heritage Ranch Community Services District has similar concerns about the rainfall.
You know, whenever there's a wildfire in a watershed, it's always a concern.
Turbidity, or the cloudiness of the water, could increase substantially. If filtered water turbidity exceeds a certain point, the Community Services District says water could be turned off to protect public health. In the meantime, communities around the lake are gearing up for what could be ahead.
We can't prevent the amount of water running in to the reservoir, but what we can do is prepare for the treatment of it.
And the county is expected to come out next Wednesday to get water quality samples. Live and local in San Luis Obispo, Alexa Bertola, KSBY News.
All right, thank you for that, Alexa. The water has been tested a couple of times since the fire, and the quality has generally been rated as good. Also, the Santa Barbara County Office of Emergency Management has issued an evacuation order for the Sherpa fire burn area, and KSBY reporter Megan Abundis is live from Refugio Canyon with details on that. Megan.
Dan, this evacuation warning includes Refugio Canyon, Las Flores Canyon, and El Capitan Canyon. Now, back in mid-June, the Sherpa fire burned through nearly 7,500 acres and started in the Refugio Canyon area just west of Goleta. The warning follows a flash flood watch issued by the National Weather Service for recent burn areas in Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo counties. People living in the Sherpa fire burn area are encouraged to prepare if they feel necessary. Those who need extra time or feel threatened by this evacuation warning are advised to leave now. Live and local in Refugio Canyon, I'm Megan Abundis, KSBY News.
Megan, thank you for that. The upcoming storm can also be dangerous for drivers on the road. KSBY News reporter Fabiola Ramirez joins us live from the Cuesta Grade in San Luis Obispo County with tips drivers should follow as the rain starts to fall. Fabi?
Well, Karina, on rainy days like today, the California Highway Patrolman and Caltrans wants to remind drivers to be precautious and careful when they're driving, as well as to slow down, especially since we haven't seen wet weather in a while. With rain come slick roads. Oil accumulation since the last rain adds to the danger for drivers. So before hitting the slippery roads, make sure your vehicle brakes, windshield wipers, blades, and tires are in good condition. If you have to drive, CHP asks you to slow down.
The biggest amount of crashes we get are because people are driving just too fast for the weather conditions. So slow down. It's a big thing. Slow down. If you don't need to get anywhere in a hurry, slow down. And if you do need to get somewhere in a hurry, leave earlier.
Inspect your head and tail lights for better visibility, and keep them on when it's raining, even during the day, to ensure other drivers can see you and you can see the reflective surface on traffic signs. Caltrans also wants to remind you to slow down and or move over when highway workers, law enforcement, or tow truck drivers are working on or near the roadway.
I think it's wise for drivers to be aware of speed limit signs. We also have fixed message boards in select locations around the county, so it's important for motorists that when they're driving, they pay attention to information that's provided.
Well, we've also been out here for a while, and I noticed a lot of cars do not have their headlights on. So make sure that when you are driving on these type of conditions, especially when it's getting darker, to turn on your lights. And also CHP says that they recommend people to not leave their house if they don't have to not make unnecessary trips. And instead, if you do need to go somewhere, to make sure you leave ahead of time so you are not late. Live and local in San Luis Obispo, I'm Fabiola Ramirez, KSBY News.
All right, some good reminders there. Thank you, Fabi. Caltrans crews and CHP officers say they are prepared to respond to any flooding, roadway debris, or other emergencies. Call 911 to report any incidents or hazardous roadway conditions. Well, the rain has put a damper on downtown San Luis Obispo Farmers Market. It has been canceled along with tonight's scheduled Halloween festivities. The trick-or-treating and costume contest will now be on Halloween. That is this Monday. It will be from 5 p.m. until 8:30. Bags and a map will be handed out at the Union Bank parking lot.
Well, let's talk politics now. Believe it or not, the election is less than 2 weeks away, and the race for the 35th District Assembly seat that Cacho Ashajian is vacating is now heating up. Don Ortiz-Legg says Jordan Cunningham is a selfish opportunist who's willing to let criminals out of jail Cunningham's ads portray Don Ortiz-Legg as an anti-war radical who says we're all guilty of war crimes. Well, we sat down with both to give them a chance to address the attacks and make their respective cases to voters. First, a look at how the two portray themselves.
Don Ortiz-Legg is the only candidate for Assembly who's helped local veterans and helped create good-paying local jobs.
I'm the only candidate that has created jobs. I'm the only candidate that's helped expand local businesses, and I'm the only candidate that's actually cut red tape.
Jordan Cunningham, a former prosecutor, Jordan fought daily for safety in our communities.
Every law enforcement group that is endorsed in this race has endorsed my campaign because I know what I'm talking about when it comes to public safety policy.
And here's how they characterize each other.
But Jordan Cunningham is really in the business of helping dangerous criminals go free.
It's a disingenuous attack, frankly. I mean, I've done criminal defense work, some private clients, some appointed by judges. People have a right to counsel.
Yes.
That's what a good defense attorney should do, right?
That's correct. That's exactly what a good defense attorney should do, and I think it's more about never telling people about being a defense attorney.
It's true that Cunningham's work as a defense attorney isn't called out on his website's homepage, but there is this when you click on About. He now represents individuals, families, and local businesses as the owner and founder of Cunningham Law Group. Well, here's what Cunningham says about Ortiz-Legg.
As Code Pink's co-founder, Ortiz-Legg wrote, "We are all guilty of war crimes."
Everything in that commercial is factual. I stand by every part of it. Somebody's history of political activism is certainly relevant information for voters.
For the record, Code Pink's own website says in part, quote, "It's a women-led grassroots organization working to end U.S. wars and militarism." So what did you mean by that, though, when you say
Yes.
all of us?
More or less meant that everybody is responsible for the way that we spend our treasury and what we do with our forces.
Attack ads aside, the two candidates have remarkably similar thoughts on some big local issues. Both say the water shortage requires multi-pronged approaches, including maximizing supplies from the desal plant at Diablo to increasing surface storage and conservation. Both agree that PG&E, the state, local government, and the community must collaborate to minimize the economic shock from the closure of the Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant. And where the two differ tends to split along traditional party lines. Cunningham's platform emphasizes law and order, cutting waste in government, and opposing new taxes, including Measure J, a half-cent sales tax, which supporters say would raise $25 million a year to fund local bridge and road work. Ortiz-Legg says she'll use her experience in business, particularly the solar industry, to build coalitions to create jobs and bring more state money for infrastructure and housing projects. To see the extended interviews with both candidates, go to our website, ksby.com/decision2016.
All right, Dan, thank you. And well, Election Day is November 8th. Thankfully, it's not today because of the rain. That creates low voter
sometimes
turnout.
right. And so we've got the rainfall. We badly need the rain. The system is not a huge wind maker or wave maker. We take you out to Morro Bay, and there you can take a look at the harbor right now. We're still waiting for the heavier rainfall. It still sits off the coast. We'll talk thunderstorm potential a lot more. Stay right there. Forecast still ahead.